classic matchup returns. To finish off day 2, Moist and Liquid hit the field for a best of 7. For our finale, it's El Splashico.
And Leaf, the last time we had El Splashico on the mainstream, Moist defeated Liquid in a Copper Box Classic. But the last time Moist were even on the mainstream, they fell to Furia in that Game 7 in the World Championship quarters. So plenty of history here, Stumpy. The Liquid are the same since then. Moist, however, are not.
They've changed it up a little bit. We spoke about it on that pre-show as well. Well, I think Astral, he has done a phenomenal job. He has joined in instead of Vatira, and he has fit in like just a jigsaw piece that always should have been there. I've been so impressed. Any team that he joins has that capability of either being world-class and being incredible and something that you've never seen before, or it can just go wrong a little bit. This is thankfully one of those rosters that may well end up in the history books, just as his Carmine Corp roster did as well.
Well, it is working well for them so far. Moist bringing in Astral, and it's good to see that. It's always nice to see a player as mechanically brilliant as he is, making his way deep into tournaments. And if they can win this one, Moist, they will face Astral's old team in Carmine Corp. So just another reason to really want to win this one. But as for Liquid, I mean...
Great.
I say that. I mean, Astral, we're saying he wants to win this one. That was just a little mechanical move, and it's 1-0 Moist.
As for Liquid, mate, it doesn't matter if they're not on the pitch. A demolition with Atto sitting in the center leads Astral to flip reset over the top of him. Getting the splash gold explosion. He already knows the script. He knows what to do. Put your Moist decal on, get your splash gold explosion going, and go ahead and get wet. That's all you need to do.
He is embracing the dashness, embracing the sogginess. There you go, Leaf. A mention of the soggy showdown to make yourself happy. Lovely start there from Astral. The Liquid, they didn't have too much of an easy time themselves yesterday in Twist. I can see why they were so stressed about it. In fact, the two teams that they faced that made it through to these last 8, they went 0-6 against them. So not too many good signs from their Swiss coming into this one. They will have to play better if they are to take down Moist.
But I mean, you said that it was just the players, mate. We were alongside Liquid for that entire journey, and it was horrifying. They lost to Carmine, they lost to Oxygen, and then they took it versus EG and then Monkeys at the end. Whereas Moist, they had such an easy journey. They went 3-0. They went, actually, in fairness, they dropped 5 games out of that, losing 1 to Quadrant, 1 to Sonics, then 1 to Aogiri. So it's one of those situations where you look at the 3-0, you think, wow, they were dominant. But actually, 5 games, that really could have changed it. And they went to 5 in 2 of them. A great angle there from a Chronic. And yesterday, we went into it saying he was looking brilliant. You know, he was the best team going, the best player, on Liquid going into that top 16 qualifier. My guy dropped a 0.063 octane rating in Game 4 versus EG yesterday. He tweeted about it. He was like, wow, is that like the record lowest that we've ever seen in the RLCS? And I love that he tweeted that. He knows that it's temporary, but my God, that is really low. Don't look at that replay ever again.
I believe Virtuoso, when he had connection issues, was slightly lower, but it's sort of in that conversation of the worst ever. So congratulations.
It goes to a player with connection issues over a player that was, I'm sure, trying his damnedest to not get the lowest ever.
Yeah, I'm sure he was trying. But he did struggle at times yesterday, Chronic. It's for reasons like this, when he's left isolated alone, he's got to make such a fast decision of, do I go for the player? Do I go for the ball? Do I even jump at all or just wait? It's really difficult a way he has to play around Atto and Oski. But when it works, Liquid look absolutely flawless. So far, not working too well for them, though. They're going to slow this one down, but Rise, there's no one challenging him. Joyo's coming in. A lovely fake from Rise on the corner. It's cleared well by Oski. So Liquid trying to come into this one. Start off a little bit slowly for them. That's a massive clear there from the Moist man.
And huge amount of midfield play too. Really quite a low amount of shots and saves on both sides, mostly being shut down, as you see Astral demonstrate there in the midfield. Going up for a bit of a pre-jump, or at least a nice quick jump after someone's already gone in the air for an air dribble or just some kind of flip reset. It just comes down to who can break through that final line. With passes like that in the center, a Chronic gets caught running for the back boost, but really he should have been running to the back post.
Lovely charge down from Joyo, and he was there as well, just making sure that he was in as much space as possible. If a Chronic could have got there, you just know that Joyo would have been chasing him down, but in the end, he wasn't needed at all. Rise's finish was too good, and it's a further example of how well Astral has slotted into this team. He knew exactly where his teammate was going to be right there. Rise is coming again with a must-be. Moist are looking like they are having a lot of fun right now, early on in game number 1.
That's their vibe, man. That's what they do. They just have fun. They change it up. They want to be something a bit different. They don't want to be that replay analyzing team. They've won a major by not being that replay analyzing team. But as you said, Cole, their last result on the mainstream, they lost to Furia. It's something that they were not happy about. There were big issues, with them during that as well. And Vatira leaving, it's not a wake-up call by any stretch. It's a personal choice by Vatira, and his team is still world-class, but they don't want to fall short again. And as considering Astral's last performance during the previous season, what a pickup for them. And I really see this as being just another iteration of the incredible roster.
Let's see if Liquid can get some of their old magic going in the last 45 seconds of this game. They absolutely shocked the Rocket League world, at least in Europe, making it to that major from pretty much nothing over there in spring. Finished top 8 in that as well. Such a good performance when they were pretty much only going there to, at least as far as Worlds qualification was concerned, make up the numbers.
Yeah.
It was a huge achievement for them. It's a bit of a hangover now. When you got Joyo flip resetting, Rise coming in, it's impossible to defend against.
Tipping it round 1 as well, then goes on the flip reset, gets it, and then Rise sneaks in. Oski thought that was going to be a pretty routine save and just send it back into the midfield and restart again. But no, Rise there, slicing across, tips it over the top, and with 3-0 in game number 1, that is going to be near enough decided. Only 25 seconds left. And I know again, for this season, very thankfully, we are seeing the return of those Moist critical viewing parties. People are hanging out. There's that big party atmosphere going on with them right now. So it's nice to see that it wasn't just a one-season thing. That consideration and that determination from the org is going to be continuing.
It's a 3-0 win, at least, for Moist in game number 1. And to be honest, it's looked like 3-0 as well from what we've seen on the pitch. They have outclassed Liquid in this first few minutes. Maybe Liquid will be able to get something, or should be able to defend their goal for the last couple of seconds here until this ball hits the floor. Just really impressed with Moist. They were saying they had a clean run yesterday. It was harder than it looked at first glance because they had those game 5s. They still have teething problems with this as a new team, but they're still finding those late winners. Rise, we saw on the mainstream, he got a game 5 overtime winner. Rise is still Rise, Joyo is still Joyo. Astral is this lovely new version of Astral that we've seen since his Carmine Corp days, and Moist ran away with that one.
They could have got a lot to think about because yesterday when they did end up going to those 5 series, we chatted to their coach Expert, and he was saying, look, we played so well at the end. We really brought it back, and we need that pressure to perform. We think that Swiss, that's not our format. We don't like the starting out bit. That's where me and him inherently disagree. But they don't like that starting out bit. They think, we can lose this series. We can lose that series. Doesn't matter. We just need to not lose 3. Here, they can't lose 1. They perform so much better under pressure. And that was proven when they went down to a single life left. Experts said that this is where they should theoretically thrive. So far, they haven't shown it necessarily, but with this team, with these 2 teams, it is always an epic that we love to witness.
That's a better start for Team Liquid already in the first few seconds of game number 2. A nice clean shot that was saved well by Moist. Going to continue the attack on. A little bit boost start from Oski, but he's still managing to cause so much damage. So should be able to just slow this one down for a second. Gets it past Atto. Oski's coming in. Iconic, the third man's going to have to wait.
And you chat about Oski and his boost as well. He, by far, used the most boost per minute going through the regionals so far. He was using around just over 502 boost per minute, right? That's almost 50 more than second place. He was stealing about a third of that boost from the opposition's half as well. If he is being sent down to low amounts, then that is not the playstyle he wants to go for. And again, you see him going low there again. He has 18 boosts to go for that save. He is not comfortable. And that's what Moist are doing so incredibly well. Chronic missing that open net as he just has to try and get it over the top of the player, but below the crossbar.
He was a little bit slow afterwards as well, Chronic. He hoped he could get past that ball and get a clean touch, but not against Moist the way they're defending today. So optimistic, so keen to get to the ball as soon as possible. It has been more Liquid than Moist though at the start of the second game, but Rice can chase that in a heartbeat. He gets the flip reset, the ball makes its way towards Astral. And then Rice bumps out of the way. Astral finishes the job. Despite all the pressure against them, Moist take the first goal.
Rise, you rascal! Coming in from the back of the net, going in and out and smashing them out of the way. It leaves Oski to just try and pick up the pieces. Bato, he's already at the halfway mark at that point. Astral just has to tap it in. Does so wonderfully. Moist with that lead, and that play style is just going to be so disruptive and so horrible to play against.
Coming forward again with Astral there. Iconic can only put it into his own centre. He needs Atto to be alert. Thankfully for him, Joy didn't realise the touch would be quite that poor from Iconic, but then misses the ball as well. So a couple of awkward plays. There was a good save among that, but not great defending from the front there from Team Liquid. They'll need their touches to be much better than that. They have to get back into this second game. Astral, lovely touches, juking it past a lot of them and attempting in a double commit as well. This one's loose. Again, it's going to fall to Rise. Another flip reset. He's been doing his flip reset training. And in the end, the ball comes to Astral. Every time Moist come forward, Stumpy, they look terrifying.
Yeah, well, Moist, you say every time they come forward, this is just one extended period of being forward. They've just continued to go for it, and they haven't really abated any of that pressure. Astral, again, pushing on that sideline, goes then up for that dish around the side, doesn't manage to get it, but that pressure continuing on the side of Liquid. Can they get it past the halfway line? They do manage to this time, and Atto on the ceiling touches it where he really didn't want to. Wanted to keep that one nice and close to then maintain that flip reset. Chronic trying to go for that dish around, but Joyo on the back wall can shut him down effectively. Astral missing on one, and then Oski to touch it below the crossbar, nearly gets the double on the save. Isn't fortuitous that time.
Look how close the Chronic and Atto are as well there, rotating out next to each other. Yeah, it's tough to get the attack going. Eventually it happens. Astral makes the save on the goal line. A few chances now for Team Liquid. This is what they need. Some sustained pressure. Touches on the ball. Again, Oski's completely out of boost. He's trying to set Atto up for a pre-jump in his own half. It doesn't work, and Rise just gets the easiest goal of his career.
I mean, seeing Oski just send that across, as you said, Atto potentially just should have made that contact. Obviously, it would have been ideal if he made that contact, but it's also Rise's positioning. He's so aggressive with it that he identifies Atto as in such an awkward position to try and get anything from that play. And so when it just falls down, that's exactly what Rise is expecting. He's not caught out by that. That's what he read, and murder she wrote.
I mean, the thing is as well that even if Liquid had connected with that and combined the way they wanted to, there were Moist players back, so how much of an advantage would going for a pre-jump there in your own goal line really have given them? Lots to think about for Liquid. It's not working for them at all. Moist, though, everything is happening. The pendulums swing in their direction time and time again. He wants to change that. He can get a quick reset here. Can he get it over the top of the fence? Yes, he can. Liquid are on the score sheet, and it is a beauty.
That is what large Oscar can do when he has a little bit of boost. Taps it so beautifully downrange. Astral commits to it, and then Joyo on the backboard turns. He thinks that Astral's got that touch, leaving that top corner completely barren. Can send it in. Oski bringing the goal deficit to just one for Liquid.
Liquid going to have to make the most of this momentum now. Are they able to do it? Chronic in the corner. Atto, that is where you do a pre-jump, my friend. Oski's finishing it, is he? No, not quite. On the crossbar. A Chronic coming in, can't put it away either. Moist survive for a few more seconds, but suddenly their air dribbles out are being met by Team Liquid players, and for the last 70 seconds or so of this game, it will not be easy for Moist.
They need to be bringing it back, Liquid. You say it won't be easy for Moist, but Moist, just being able to maintain is a much nicer position to be in compared to being the team that just has to push to get anything. Otherwise, you're down by 2. Tactical timeouts then get called into consideration. The Chronic on that left wing with a minute left, then forced it then to fall down to Atto on the ceiling. Gets it then below Astral. Oski goes out with the Chronic on the right-hand side and Atto on the left. Which will he pick? Instead, he goes right down the middle, causes trouble for Astral and Rise. A Chronic cleverly leaving that ball, leaves it to Atto, then goes for a fair dribble, but misses the ball entirely. Astral can challenge. Oski sending it long again. Atto up for the redirect. It's down, it's in!
Say what you want about Team Liquid, but they will always stick to their own game style. It doesn't matter if they got punished for ridiculous plays like this earlier on. When it lands, it looks sublime. Team Liquid get back into game number 2 with 2 quick-fire, beautiful goals. And we're going to have a grandstand finish here, Stumpy.
We were talking about players coming down from the heavens early with Jorius, but Atto, he proves that there are 2 gods in this world.
Last time these 2 teams played, there was a reverse sweep from Moist in a best-of-7. So we do know that Liquid can get games against them. They're able to do it. A Chronic, good touch. And he's got boost as well. Suddenly all of them seem to have boost whenever they need it. That's a little bit dodgy. Atto's stranded somewhat. Moist could just completely turn this one on its head in a few seconds here. Astral's touch though goes to a Chronic. Chronic's first touch has Rise beneath him. Should be able to quick reset past him. He doesn't, but instead it falls to Oski. Astral's on hand there to get that ball away. No one's taking overtime now. Joyo pops it up. Moist want to end this right here. Do they? No. Instead, Joyo chooses to kill it. And we do go to overtime in game 2.
When you see overtimes and you see Moist on the pitch, you're going to be a bit silly to bet against them. The overtime record is unbelievable. And when then you get to game 5s and 7s, it goes even crazier.
That's
and
why.
Joyo, he continues to prove why. Ice in his veins as the white cast sends it goalward.
Once again, a huge assist from Astral. This time, it was a pinch into the center. Massive 50-50 game from him. Joyo was in the perfect position. Liquid couldn't read it. And despite their late theatrics, Moist Esports do take that second game. So it's a tough loss for Liquid, but the positives to be had from there They got on the score sheet and they started playing their own style, and it worked for a little while at least against Moist.
Again, you see the Liquid come back and they score a wonderful goal as well. Going down, sending it high from Oski and then being able to smash it down bottom right corner near post. I love to see that. However, Moist, in those overtimes, they just managed to do something special. They just managed to scare their opponents somewhat. And we have heard as well that there will be no timeout. We are not going to be seeing Liquid take a second, just get a breather, slow down that momentum and work their way back into this series. Instead, they're opting just to carry on through.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that sort of makes sense for them. They did have, despite losing the overtime, more momentum going into the end of that game. So fair play. I mean, it's a sort of one where if they win this next game, you think, wow, well done. What a brilliant decision. If they lose it, you think, why didn't they take the
now you've got a reverse sweep to do, lads.
Yeah, exactly. The meta is to take it after 2, but Liquid, they don't respect the meta. They don't like these wide rotations. They don't like passes. They just want to boom the ball. They want to get solo plays, and if they do pass, it has to be for a pre-jump. Otherwise, they don't want to hear about it, baby.
Astral, though, receives a pass from Rise there, and immediately this pressure is building on the side of Liquid, and Moist, they play immediately as they mean to go on. There's no working into a series for them. It's immediately firing all cylinders, but one of those cylinders has gone bang as Oski sends it in the blue net.
A nice simple goal for Liquid, their first one of those of the series. The Chronic finding Oski in the center, and Oski beating Joe to the ball. So Moist may be starting to feel themselves a little bit too much as well with that overcommit. And that is, I believe, the first time Liquid have taken the lead in this series as well. So a lot of change there in that goal. Maybe a second one as well from the kickoff. Liquid's kickoffs were pretty good yesterday. This one's put them up on the front foot from it as well. Straight away, but look how isolated the Chronic is. This is where he has to wait.
That was the
challenge game good,
game.
but Oski had got back in time to help out.
Those are the problems that he faced yesterday as well. It was just him sitting in the back. It was Atto, and it was Oski just trying to go for crazy plays together up front, and then all of a sudden has to fall on a wise old man of a Chronic just sitting right at the back to hopefully get something from those plays, save it away, and then just set them back up again. The way they won previously was not isolating him and not leaving him into those situations, because also a Chronic, throughout the entirety of the top 16 qualifier, he was their best player overall, not just defensively. Rise's offense is just going to be firing wide of the net that time, but it's something to consider if you're Liquid, and maybe something that was just said really quickly that a timeout wasn't even needed for by Expa.
Oh, that's really awkward from Rise. He's gone forward too much. It's hitting the crossbar. Is it going to make its way in? No! Somehow the ball stays out. The magnets that Moist put there before the match pay themselves. So near, yet so far for Liquid. Rise breathes a huge sigh of relief, no doubt. And it remains 1-0 to Team Liquid.
Oh my gosh. That every other time that goes in. Every other time. But when you get into the world of the hoodoo voodoo magic that Moist seem to be having on their side, and all of the the routines that they've got on the viewing party, when they come into effect, own goals, they just won't find their way into the net.
Astral is trying to air dribble over the top of 2 Team Liquid defenders. Needs to be a little bit better than that from Astral to be able to do it. But what a read that is from Joyo. So quick. Rise is steaming in. That's an overcommit. There's a chance for a redirect here. It's all looking good for Moist, but they overplayed it, and it's 2-0 Liquid.
They didn't even have a lead in this series until they got that first goal, and now they've got a lead in this series and an insurance goal in the game. Brilliant play from Liquid, and just seeing a Chronic waiting up there as well to receive that pass is saying that he's wanted to do, I think, for a little while. Cherry picking it, sending it in on an open net. It's a rare situation you're going to be seeing from Moist, leaving that completely open.
Now, in the pre-show, Stumpy, we were talking about word association, and
we were.
When I hear the words game management, I do not think of Team Liquid. So let's see if they slow their roll a little bit now they're a couple of goals up, and just try and not fully defend, but maybe try and eke out some of those pre-jumps.
But then you say about game management, I think you can do the game management while also keeping your game style. They've still got 2.5 minutes, and as literally all of us know, the best defense in Rocket League is going for offense. And if you're going to keep defending, this is what's going to happen. Joyo manages to receive it from that pass off Rise, who does massively outplay Oski. A Chronic just backward towards, backflip.
Yeah, the problem is that the best defense in Rocket League is not backflipping. That's what a Chronic had missed there. So as soon as he did that, it was game over. Little tip for all of you watching right now: try not to backflip if you're on the goal line.
Oh, that's the issue.
Yeah, exactly. You do it every time, mate. You always purposely miss the ball. It never works. Astral never misses the ball. Look at him. He's got the flip reset from the ceiling. Absolute brilliance from the Belgian.
Your best defense is offense. And your best offense is probably Astral. Going for that flip reset off the ceiling, securing it, extending that timer. Yes, please, 9-9 Liquid.
Wow, beautiful there from Astral. And now he's feeling it again from the kickoff. Is he going to get that next touch?
Free jump.
Ronnie got it away. Huge win there from Rise. Joe finds it, but Atto comes in. So Team Liquid still trying to play at a million miles per hour. Moist have just about managed to suppress them. Shows the mechanics of their own. Chronic uses the ceiling and gets the next touch. Is Atto going to be there? The ball sort of slows down. Everyone's really unsure when this next hit is coming from. In the end, the next clean hit is from a Chronic. He then gets himself home as quickly as he possibly can because Atto and Oski probably got something up their sleeves that he needs to come back and defend in case it goes wrong, as is the case. Here he comes now, a Chronic in the corner. Up against Astro. What a series he's having. Atto's there. Is Oski waiting for the ball in the middle? He is, but Rise rose as well, and it remains at 2-2.
That was a lovely pass down as well, just making sure the defender isn't quite set on exactly what the offense fancies. And that pass in, but Chronic missing out on that flip reset. Oski, though, chance to shoot. And the third goal for Liquid, one apiece, manages to find their way in. 3-2. Actually, it's not one apiece. It's Oski with 2. What a hero.
What a hero. What a legend.
What a guy.
With that relative tap-in at this level. Because poor Joe, who went up for the ball, I think Chronic then missed his flip reset and made it so that Joe's touch just went behind him. One way or another, these things happen so quickly. Atto to the ceiling. That's speed. That's incredible speed. He shoots up like an arrow. It's ridiculous. The Chronic keeps the attack going. Once hitting the ceiling again, Liquid seem to own that ceiling, the space above Moist goal line. Yeah, tapping it past them, getting all sorts of clean touches. Suddenly Moist look a little bit stagnant in defense, Stumpy.
I think that was actually going to be Atto's original name, by the way, Arrow, but he just misspelled it and thought, you know what, I'll just carry on going.
It works. It does work out for him. Look at that, another pass there from a Chronic off the backboard. Liquid are getting so many clean touches right now in Moist territory. The boost situation for Moist isn't that bad either.
This feels like the opposite of what we saw in game number 1 and 2 as well. The pressure that we're seeing, and finally, it abates for a minute whilst Liquid managed to get a bit more boost and then push again on that blue half. But they were sending so much pressure on that opposite side. And previously, you know, we were seeing that it was Moist doing that in its entirety. It's about how the series swings too, because the final 15 seconds in this game sees Liquid on the edge of winning their first game versus Moist. Double demo from Joyo though. Sees Astro with the ball, but low on boosters to flick it high and gets rid of him. Oski sending it over the top of Joyo, knows that he has to go for a pre-jump there too. Forces again Rise to tap it low, and Liquid with their first game coming after game 3.
They never make it easy, though, to Team Liquid. Yeah, they got that 2-goal lead. They were pegged back by some sublime Moist Esports finishes. Always lovely seeing Astral when he's playing in this sort of form, but credit to them. You know, they stuck to their game plan. They remained quicker than Moist Esports. Still no timeout has been taken. These two teams just want to get on with it, get these series done as fast as it possibly can be done. I've got a feeling it's going to game 7, so it'll be quite a long time coming, even if it is as speedy as it can be. But yeah, no, it was good reading as well there from Oski right at the end to get that final goal.
There's that sheer pressure too as well. You know, you talk about getting that final goal, but it's also about getting the ball to the ground as soon as it hit 0. Oski chased it as far as he could. He got it over the top of Joy, who he knew was pre-jumping, then went straight in the face of Rise, who then he knows has to then touch it low. It's just nice movement, and it means that Oski has got that brain screwed in. It knows that he has to push it as hard as he can, and it really just goes to secure Team Liquid that win in the end. And the loss for Moist is going to be taking us onto game number 4. We find ourselves on the wonderful world of Utopia. Moist, though, to me, it still feels like they've got that advantage. Considering how quickly they scored those goals, I just don't feel confident in saying that we're going to be seeing even like a 3-goal lead for Liquid hold itself for long when that ability is there. But that shot from Atto out of nowhere.
Yeah, from absolutely nowhere as well. I mean, it seemed to go in slow motion. It didn't have much pace on it, but Astral just didn't read it at all. I guess because he used his wheels, he forced some sort of weird angle. One way or another, Astral has been flummoxed by that one, and it's 1-0 to Liquid.
He also knew that Rise was behind him, so Astral maybe thought, okay, if he misses it, then I can catch the ball on the way, or if he hits it, then Rise is going to be there. Regardless, though, Atto manages to get that opening goal within 20 seconds as well. Could be vital, but a near equaliser as Astral manages to challenge that net. Chronic sending it long, sees all 3 players pushing on Moist together. Could have chucked a paper bag over him at that point.
Yeah, very central as well from Moist, so the rotation's just starting to collapse a little bit from them as Liquid set their game up. always playing on the precipice of Team Liquid, always like using that last ounce of boost in their tank. And if they miss it, if one pad doesn't spawn, the whole thing will collapse. So far it's working, at least for the last game or so. Oski's up, he's got a toe next to him. That one's gonna just land on Atto. Astral clears as long as he can, and now Chronic, that's where we expect to see him, all the way back. Just waiting, just cleaning up, getting his teammates back involved. A huge finish. But Rise was in the corner. Moist having to do even more defending, Stumpy.
A very stereotypical play coming out from Liquid too, where they went for the Chronic clear at the back, then to Oski, and then he finds Atto up at the top. But it's moving down the pitch as a three-man team. Do you love to see? I like seeing those passing plays emerge and see what magic we can see spawn from them. Central of the passing plays. An incredible pre-jump save by Oski keeps it 1-0 for Liquid.
It was a nice finish, but it was a great read there from Oski, who's now been bumped out of the way by Rise as well. Could leave Astral in. But quite on this occasion, the ball does something it very rarely does in a series like this and bounces. Normally it's just aerial hit after aerial hit. This is why the amount of control that they have when they have the ball in the skies. Unbelievable there. Rise couldn't quite put it away, but he's been looking quietly dangerous, Rise. You know, he's not the player that's getting the ball the most from Moist, but when he gets it, he always seems to do something that terrifies Team Liquid as they come forward, but that one won't lead to too much.
And that's something we saw from a lot of teams yesterday too, those pre-flips into then the flip resets. And you have to time it so perfectly so that then you get the ball underneath you and you're not just tapping it out your way and then just completely breaking apart the entire progression down pitch. It takes a lot of skill to do them. And yeah, I like seeing that start to form. Pre-flip gang is doing well. Stonks are up.
Pre-flip gang versus pre-jump gang as far as Liquid are concerned. What a passing play that is from Moist. Joe couldn't quite get the angle to send that one back across the keeper. So instead, Liquid are going to come forwards again. Joe's got the ball in the air all by himself. It's going to be closed down. Surely no, it's just Astral that gets it next. Chronic and Oski, the two of them, have to combine on the goal line. But Chronic then does read it cleanly. I just love the fact that Atto is always playing in front of the ball. I'd love to see his in front of ball stats. I've never seen anyone like it who is that desperate to go for pre-jumps all the time and just wants the pass, but it can leave them a little bit light in defense. And Moister coming forward. That's a lovely redirect, and it was Atto. He had got back, and he's the one who gets the save.
Yeah, thankfully behind the ball on that occasion, manages to clear it away from the goal line after that reset came in from Astral. Good chances, though, for Moist to have scored, but they were shut down entirely by Liquid, who still maintain that lead. We are now under 2 minutes remaining, approaching 1 minute 30. Astral pushing down the left wing, bumped out of the way by Oski. A Chronic pinches it, it goes to the ceiling. Atto is going to be there first. That is on target, but Rise quite handily back. Oski with a dangerous pre-jump. Will be finding the pass back from a Chronic, however. He's going to have to retreat as he finds himself a switch low on boost, but actually hangs about, then finds his way onto the ball yet again. He is not leaving that half, and it's making a Chronic's journey just a little bit awkward. He wasn't too sure where to go at any moment in that play, but the biggest aim, Liquid didn't concede.
They didn't. Oski, just wait. Faked the flip reset, tried to bop it over the top of Astral, but Astral wasn't falling for it. Oski now is the man in front of the ball. He's the target man for Team Liquid, but that was nothing target man about it. That was just a huge challenge from a Chronic. Simple Rocket League. Something sometimes Liquid lack, but doing a little bit better than that in the last game or so. There's a demo from Astral on Oski, a good one as well. Might open things up at least for a second. Chronic's there, but everyone's a little bit boost-starved at the moment. Maybe Oski is able to change that if he had some, but he's just gone and missed the ball. And now it's Moist's turn to come forward, potentially. Joyo, he's in the air. He's got Astral in the center. He'd love to find him to just put it on his car. Not done just yet, and Rise is around the corner. Actually comes back to him. 30 seconds left.
Final 30 is going to be seeing Team Liquid, though, on their push. The offense continuing. Great fake out from Atto there. Then finds Oski with the ball just dangling on that left wing. Astral, though, into the sky. Gets over the top of Atto with only 9 boosts. The Chronic touches it, but Joyo is waiting and lurking. Rise then take it low. Joyo finds the net completely open. Passed around the entirety of that Liquid backline. Moist equalise at the death again.
I think it was Oski who was just bumped out of the way by Astral on his rotation out, and that meant that he couldn't go for the ball cleanly. Credit to Joyo, he still had to have the pace. Actually, it wasn't Joyo, it was the person who got the assist, who still had to have the pace to beat the Liquid defenders to the ball. Could have been another decent kickoff there, but yeah, okay. We're having a pause. We're having a second just to take a breather. Right there at 1-1. They always happen at the scariest moments. Like 15 seconds left, 10 seconds left. As of right now, Natto DCs. So everybody just, breathing exercises. Time to stay
Breathe in, and then make sure you breathe out again, and then keep breathing in and out again until the day that you perish from this mortal plane. Cole, I have a fun stat for you about Atto. It's not about how many times he's disconnected in this series. Instead, it is about how much time he has spent in front of the ball. He has spent around 32% of his time in front of the ball during this event, and that is the third most so far. So, great shout. Great vision on him, just playing so far ahead that can be good. It can work incredibly well, but we, as well, being on that Liquid stream, saw when it didn't work. Saw that the issues happened when he is the one up front and he's not helping out Chronic at the back, and him and Oski really get, they get too entangled with each other.
I'd love to just say as well, I've been looking at the chat that's coming in between the admins and the players, and Liquid, incredibly honest, they were saying the disconnect was after the goal. They're not trying to say, oh yeah, we only conceded because this happened or that happened. So just a little nod to their, obviously all these players are good sports, but just nice to see it in action.
These guys are all mates as well. Like everyone pretty much at this level is a good friend. But these guys in the pre-lobby, I was having a little chat with them. They're all joking around. They were like bumping each other and like jumping on each other's cars and stuff. They were just messing about. It's like, look, we know what we're here to do. We're here to destroy the competition, but we're all still very good friends. And we're just figuring out, and we're just seeing as well that Atto has rejoined the lobby. We should then be going from the kickoff. I'm not sure what the time is going to be. Kickoff obviously only just happened, so somewhere around 10 seconds anyway. So there's still going to be that goal scored for Moist. It's still 1-1 as we approach the resetting of this game at the kickoff.
Yeah. 10 seconds. Okay, it's 15 seconds. 15 seconds left, I think we're going to have. It's such a weird sort of kickoff. I feel like, we had some Johnny rants about kickoffs in the last series. They're very different here. When you've had that timeout, you're drinking water, you're talking to your coaches, whatever is happening.
And Chronic's got a big old bottle of water to drink from as well.
That is a massive one. Yeah, fair play to that. He's barely put it down in time. He's got like 2 seconds. They're thinking, quick, put the cap back on. So we can see if we will have some dramatics before overtime right now. Atto gets it into the corner. Astral's already up. Huge clearance from a Chronic. Maybe will be enough just to take us towards overtime. The OT bells are ringing. Oski takes the shot into the corner. Otto got it on Rice. He clears it as far as he can. Oski kills it. And they can take that second deep breath because we will eventually have the overtime.
That was so close to finding its way in on the corner. Atto as well. He had a shot with that, but it just perfectly manages to find its way up and around and away from the goal. Moist again, getting away by the skin of their teeth in this series.
Flip reset from Rise, yet another one, puts it into the corner. The Chronic was rating for it. He is really starting to read these Moist plays now. Atto with the quick flip reset. He's going to clear that one. So, Moist have had some scary moments coming to this point in game number 4. So far, they've survived, and that's all you can really do when you have the 3 Liquid players barreling down upon you. Maybe that changes now. Astral is there again. Another huge save. Moist going for counter-attacks at the moment.
I mean, that's all they can do. This pressure is entirely on that ocean on their side. And I just find its way central again, but Joya bumped away by Astral. Great touch from Oski, can get it towards the net. It's going to count as a shot, but very generous because Astral manages to actually take his time, take a breath, have an entire roast dinner, and then gets to the ball. Rise manages to try and get it around on one, but Oski cleverly goes in and out of that net, finds his way onto the save. Again, challenging, again pushing. Liquid nearly finds his way behind the defender. This is brilliant rotations from both teams. For Oski, he has been the man to send as many chances forward as possible for Liquid right now. Moist are penned back.
Liquid just so desperate to keep that ball under their command. Chronic is there, he wants to set up Oski, but Astral's up fast again. Rise behind him. Joy's just waiting in the center. Maybe a bit of a defensive performance from him as Atto into the musty and decides against
the musty. I like it. It's because he had no boost, but it makes that defender have to push his way back a little bit because he does not know when that musty's going to come in.
Oh, it does fall though in the end for Moist. Rise went for another flip reset, maybe becoming a little bit predictable with those. Been quite a few this series. Chronic and Oski need to have better comms than that. The clearance is good, thankfully, for Team Liquid. That should take the sting out of any tail they could have grown. And Rise can just wait and get it past Atto. Oski's coming in. Who's going to be the next team to launch an actual decent attack? And Chronic has a redirect potentially from Oski, who can't quite get it. Joe gets a huge save as well. And now there is Atto up against Astral, and we'll have some neutral territory for both these teams.
I love that Atto is just shadowing him as close as he humanly can, making sure that he's not comfortable for a second. Rise had a chance to 1v1 with the Chronic, but is going to be falling prey to that defense. Gets sent high by Oski. Running to send it long again, on target as well, with Joyo just about managing to make it back. Thought that was going to be bouncing off the post. I thought that may well have been in, and Joyo was a little bit low, but instead, able to save it away quite handily. 35 boost, and Astral working his way out that corner. This ball falling into corners repeatedly. Neither team wanting to go for that massive challenge to send it away, but Astral in the air with Atto grounded. Instead, he finds his way up. Who's going to be shooting? Nobody fancies going for it until Oski in the midfield challenges with Joyo.
Yeah, I think Astral goes for the ball by himself and he has control in the air. People just assume that something's going to happen again. Whenever he goes for these, I'm guessing he's going to get the backboard, the backboard finish, the double tap. That's why Liquid have to defend it so quickly. Oski is such a confident defender. But maybe could have challenged Astral there. He waited for him. Didn't really have the boost to do too much with it. All he could do was half block on Rise. He's going to fall into his hood eventually, but he's got no boost still. He needs to get out of there. Atto's coming in. Oski's behind you.
Liquid are utilising these blind spots so well, and we said that about Atto yesterday. When we watched them for 5 series, we just saw him flying out in positions where you would never expect him to be. Oski there in a position where Chronic did not want him to be as well, where he thought he had the situation entirely under control. But we've seen the players just fly in from, completely from the side. It then means that any player that's trying to take it slow on Moist now has to second guess whether they've actually got a defender on their way.
So close again, but another huge block from Oski. Very rarely are these shots going to the actual goalkeeper because the pre-jumps, the early challenges are just everywhere to be seen across the pitch. So I guess a rare couple of touches. Atto sets it high. Is anyone on his team going to be there? What he does do is tend to double commit there from Moist, so a little bit of boost wasted. Some resources lost for Moist. They will come forward. Rise was so close to that double tap. Yeah, an absolute beauty. We're now 4 minutes and 15 seconds into an overtime that was so close to not happening. If only Atto could have put it in the corner, he might put this one in. No, it's the crossbar again. Another chance goes begging. Rise up against Oski. Oski stands tall. Wants to get this boost and does pass Astral, so he shouldn't be able to do too much. Atto's here. He clears it to Oski. The chance is gone.
But that's the exact situation that you hope for. When you see that ball rolling down, you want the defender to miss and you want the open net. But instead, Atto he rushes it a bit. He goes high. I get that he doesn't know the defender's not going to be there, but it's still scary. And he has to get it on target. Joyo now pushing from that save. Clears it away. A Chronic being on that goal line twice in extremely quick succession. Keeps this at just a 5-minute overtime so far. A Chronic passing to Atto, but he sends it right down the middle. And Joyo, can he put this one on target and secure the death? No, not quite.
That's such a disappointing pass there. They'll have to come again, Team Liquid. First, they'll have to defend. Here's Moist. Joe's got a clean touch. He finds Rise. That's how you make a pass. Rise tries to put it back to Astral, but Astral had run out of boost. He has to get back. No one wants this ball from Moist right now. Liquid can come in. Oski, can he get a clean touch past Joe? Nice. Yes, he can. Now it's Astral all alone. This could be the moment. Oski gets it over the top of Astral. It hits the bar again. Is anyone coming in from Liquid? No. A Chronic perhaps wisely had waited in the center. Moist, 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the overtime. Still cling on.
It was there for the shot, but no one committed. I get that it's 5.5 minutes in, but that would have been incredible. Atto now onto the ceiling, can't get another touch from it. A Chronic instead has to follow up, does not opt for the flip reset, instead opts for that redirect. It goes central. Atto to shoot, blocked away by another Moist defender. This has been back and forth, this has been action, this has been a phenomenal number of shots. Currently we're seeing 17 out of Moist and 13 on Liquid. It has been mortars downrange for everyone. And in the end, the backflip from Rise misses.
Oh, that is so close from Rise, though, getting past those two players in the corner. A moment of genius from the Moist metronome, the man who controls their plays. And it's from his play that Liquid have finally broken. Moist, a million saves along the way, but they win the overtime.
That push is so important. Astral up as quick as he can and relies on Oski to miss that save. Brilliant movement from them. That passing around at the back just did everything for Moist. And just the chances that they had, the chances that were found from both teams. And it comes down to a nice pass off the backboard and then down for the double from Astral. And we can also confirm that Liquid have now taken their time out. They are 3-1 down in this series, and this is the vital point. They've now got 2 minutes to discuss everything they need to.
I mean, I don't know how you can discuss that overtime in 2 minutes. I don't know how we can discuss that overtime in 2 minutes. You said there were like 18 saves, 18 shots, and incredible.
Moist ended on 19 shots.
Wow.
And then there were, I'm so bad at maths, 12 saves for Liquid. And then there were, why am I doing this?
Show you're working.
13 shots for Liquid and 7 saves for Moist. So take what you want from that, stats idiots.
I mean, I've completely lost track on everything you just said.
Yeah, I did it way too slowly because I'm stupid.
Yeah, all of these sort of the context of what you were saying, they just kind of floating numbers, really. Basically, bunch of shots, bunch of saves for both teams. You know, quite a good overtime is what we're really trying to get across right here.
Brilliant overtime.
Team Liquid with their coach expert, they're basically saying, wow, bunch of shots, bunch of saves there. What an overtime, probably, is what they're saying.
If Expert says that, then Liquid, I'll be sending my CV over immediately because I reckon I could have done that for half the price. We're seeing Joyo, he has to nip off for a minute. He's going for a quick break. Rise and Astral sitting there with Noah, just discussing what they need to. You know, they know they've got control of the situation. Joyo is back. Oh, Joyo's hair's much more normal.
I was thinking, where's his blue hair gone?
I like the blue and the pink. It looks sick.
I think his hair currently looks sick, to be honest, mate. So I think.
Oh yes, but I'm not saying that. No, you've just twisted my words like a politician. I meant that his hair looked really good before, and I plead the fifth.
While you do that, while you refuse to speak,
shot nearly went
we'll look at some of these replays. Team Liquid must honestly just be thinking, what else can we do? We have run out of kitchen sinks. We're throwing the bathroom sink in that. We went down to like the local shop, stole their sink, threw
the
that.
Sink shop.
Moist, the sink shop. Yeah, all their sinks, just pummeling sinks. And none of them landed. It's just crazy defending from Moist. I think, honestly, if you're Team Liquid, you think that is just fair play to Moist. The fact that they survived the onslaught and ended up winning that game.
It also could have gone either way. Like, that was so easily either way. Any given overtime goes either way. That's kind of the definition of it, right? You just need to make sure that you're thinking, look, we can near enough count that as a game win if that helps our mentality. But they're now in the position where they need to win 3 in a row. It is scary and extremely tough to do it from this point, but they have done it before, of course. They are near that level of Moist, and on their day, they are taking these. But Moist, they're in the RLCS, and they are one of the best teams in the world for a reason, proving it even with a brand new teammate.
Perhaps their comeback starts on Wasteland, but as for Moist, they'll just be thinking one more game. We've already done it 3 times. How hard can it be, eh? It can't be too difficult just to get one more, especially with Rise. Nipping in between 2 Team Liquid players like that is such pace. Nothing came from it in the end, but just showing that even though Liquid beat most players to the ball most of the time, as Oski did there against Joyo, he can fool at times. Chronic up against Rise now. Rise towards Joe. Most always looking for a pass with these clearances, and Liquid, to their credit, are starting to block that, starting to read it. They just need one of these balls to fall for them cleanly. This could be the one. Chronic gets into the backboard. He's not quite got the angles that he wanted, and Joe is able to clear in the end.
A minute and 10 gone in the game, and it just comes to Oski to try and get that central. I did see one player pre-jump. Not necessarily what you're going to be wanting. I assume it was Atto, because he's now at the back. Can't quite get it over the top as Rise attempts to go for one of the challenges. Astro was quite quiet right at the start of this game. For the first minute or so, he had like 8 points. He got very little. We're seeing just a few chances now starting to roll in for Moist as all 3 players get themselves involved in that order of play. Astro to send it long. Oski is going to bang it back. Sees a Chronic on that left wing, but doesn't go for it as Joyo are stupendously fast.
Astro as well, closing down Oski, so they could not able to have any clean touches for themselves. They had to try and force them. Oski did get a bit of a neat nibble on that ball, but could only put it into the corner. Nothing's really working for either team so far. All these passes slightly misplaced or being more likely closed down incredibly quickly by each team's opponent. So it's going to have it clean again, though. Oh, that's a lovely touch, though, from Oski. Oski is exactly where Atto needed for once the Liquid pass connects, but it's closed down well by Moist.
Yeah, that touch from Joyo just put the shooter off enough where it just meant that they weren't able to get that touch that they needed. And so, on the open net, it's going to be the only opportunity that they get. They realise, trying to go through cars, that was really hard to do. So when it's open and a missed touch from Astral, Oski can just hit it hard.
Yeah, he hit that really hard. Fair play to him. Rise, I don't think he expected Oski to get anywhere near that much power, even if he did hit the ball cleanly. Has to be said as well, slight missed touch from Astral at this level. When you have Liquid bearing down upon you, you have to get that ball to stick to your car. Because if you don't, Chronic's coming up again. That one's to the ceiling. Atto's there. It could be 2. It's saved. It's in. Yes, at the end by Joyo. Oh! Oski with the angle. Puts it in anyway.
Oski, you almighty beast of a man. From that angle, round the side, sees all players grounded. Just has to send it below the crossbar and above all of their roofs. And it goes in. That is Lovely play from him. Just the immediate shot is exactly what the doctor ordered.
The swoop on that ball as well. That was like a nothing but net basketball shot. Yeah, that sound as it goes in.
Oh, Gretzky would love to score one of them.
Joyo has Atto just staring at him. And Atto gets the boost, but Joyo got the ball. 3 more hits, so I think Joyo won that little battle. Battle of wits between them. That's a quick shot from him. Wow, powerful striking. Seems to be the order of the day on Wasteland. Boom the ball into the top corner. Eventually it will break through and you will score.
Opportunities are starting to arise for Moist, but Liquid, with, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest factor in this game. They are the ones who have taken absolute control of it so far, and the 2-0 lead is going to be supporting that theory. A shot on top corner, saved away by Oski, but Rise to shoot. Oski to save again. Oski, though, he can't do it all, and Astral is able to shoot it to the left-hand side where he is not present.
Yeah, the save was all right, but Atto, I think he bumped, or did he just go for the ball at the same time as Oski? I couldn't quite tell which one of those two it was, but one way or another, the ball falls for Astral, and for all of his brilliance, that goal will feel just as good as any of the others he's scored in this series, even though it was his most simple one so far. Another pass, that had to be low from Joyo to Rise. Too high. And Rise can't do anything from it, especially from kickoff. Actually, Rise can get a bump and a demo. And Oski will take control and boom the ball away with no boost. He does not need it.
I mean, going for those bumps as well from Rise is exactly what you need to do. When you get that pass and it's not quite what you wanted or we wanted to send it over, then that's when you just think, okay, I will just help in a different way. Good speed from Acronet to be out Rise on that. Atto in the middle with nobody challenging him. Pulls into 0 boost, and with a dunk, Oski can go over the top and then tap it low. 3-1.
Yeah, just completely nothing. Liquid steal a goal. It was just Oski charging down Joyo. And then maybe it was going in already, but Oski made sure. His player banner as a dumpster fire, but Liquid are playing better than that now. Despite some early nerves at the start of this series. Moisture in one heck of a battle. As Atto now to the ceiling, he can do anything he wants with this one. He fakes it!
Oh, that's
lovely.
My
goodness, it has gone straight in! What a fake!
My, oh my. Atto from that ceiling, he then fakes going high on it, then goes low, and then shoots it immediately. Rise gets the wheel on it, but it is nothing compared to the might of Atto. The hammer slams down, 4-1 Liquid.
I like to think as well that he purposely aimed that at Rise's wheels to get as much power on the ball as possible.
Would not surprise me at all. And that timeout is working absolute wonders. We're seeing around a 60% win rate across the last season and this season, where the team that just took the timeout, they then win the following game. They work. Getting that moment to breathe and to think is so important, and Liquid have done it perfectly. There's still 45 seconds to hold on to, and we've seen how well Moist can do at the death of games, but Liquid, if they keep playing how they are, I see Game 7 on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, it was not looking like Liquid would have a 3-goal lead in them at the start of this series, but they just keep plugging away. They never change. They can be 3-0 down in a series. They can be 3-0 down in a series and 4-0 down in the game, and still they'll be going for free jumps. Still, they'll be trying to make their opponents feel as awkward as they possibly can do, trying to force these double commits, trying to get some filthy free jumps and dirty flip reset plays. Look at that. The passes are starting to work now for Team Liquid as well. It's been their most supreme performance. Maybe Rise can get Moist something, but I think every player knows this one's dead. They're all just diving about, having a little bit of fun. Maybe we'll see one more goal. Whatever happens, it is going to be a win for Team Liquid and just a slight chance of getting back into this series for Team Liquid.
That looked like how Liquid had wanted to play for the entire series, except that time it was just really paying off. They were hitting it how they needed to. They were sending it back to their players. They were faking some shots. They were then going as hard as they could on others. And also, they were surprising Moist with what they were able to bring to the table. And Moist, because of that surprise, they have called a timeout. They don't want to approach game number 6 bewildered. They want to be the ones in control.
Yeah, that is a much more on-meta timeout after Team Liquid ignored their chance after going 2-0 down in the series. For Moist to take it after a dominant victory for Team Liquid in game number 5, going into game 6, don't lose that 6 and then take it, is what Moist are thinking here. And that is smart because something went a little bit wrong for them there. They seemed slower. Their passes weren't working at all. I mean, I didn't see too much from any of them individually or as a team. And that is obviously in a large part because Team Liquid played so well. But there's something to be changed there for Moist Esports.
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at Liquid, they have done, as I said, they are hitting the shots that they needed to. They were playing the exact kind of game where you see that playstyle of having Atto and Oski up top, you see that really start to pan out. When it goes wrong, you can look back at those two and say, oh, realistically, they should have been further back. They should have been supporting a Chronic, whatever it ends up being. But when those two are up top and they are sending it to each other and they are pushing and punishing, 3 of those goals, bear in mind, came from Oski chucking the sink shot at Moist. He was there for the long touch from Astral and he could just send it in the net when there was nobody there to defend. He then challenged again, dunked, and then got the touch from above and then got that goal. And then finally it spilled out towards the right-hand side and he was rushing in and got the immediate shot. It's all about speed for Liquid.
I'd quite like to see Moist try and play Liquid at their own game, at least in Game 6. If it doesn't work and you go to Game 7, they can then have that slight more control that worked so well at the start of this series. But I think that Team Liquid have, to an extent, downloaded Moist. They know what they're about. They know when a Moist player will go for the ball, when they won't go for the ball. That example is a perfect one, where Atto just knew exactly what Astral was going to be doing, the angle he'd been challenging. So now for Moist, I think they have to shock Liquid in the same way that Liquid have been shocking them over these last couple of games.
Yeah, I completely agree. And here on Neo Tokyo, with Bob's ramen, with those eyes overlooking, and may well be the place where they're going to be able to do it. Will it be Moist? Will it be Liquid who take us to either ending it here on Neo Tokyo or Champions Field awaits potentially for the Els Flashico?
That's fun they played. It was that decider. In the RLCS, that is, the Game 5. And there was also the streamed best of 7 that went to Game 7 as well. So we have had some Champions Field matchups between these two in recent times. Up to Liquid to ensure we have another. I think we all want another, all of us watching this right now. It has been beautiful. Some of the goals that we've borne witness to. We have to make it happen. Moist have to ensure it does. Beautiful clearance from Rise. Chronic was so near to being caught out there, but actually his positioning was perfect. If not his first touch, Joe's getting a bump. Someone could be coming in, but there's no one left. Moist have run out of players. It was a good little look at the Team Liquid net.
Go for those offensive plays as well, trying to get those awkward touches and trying to bump out any players that you can see. Again, Rise going for the bump on the air dribble. Joya was ready to come in if that bump did manage to pay off too, and then go for that secondary shot underneath. We're seeing that be a lot more prevalent. Rise replacing Atto on your screens there as Joyo tries to air dribble over the top of a Chronic, isn't able to. Atto, back right corner, sends it long, and Oski with the pre-jump. They know the recipe. They know the cake they're baking.
For goodness sake, every single time a Liquid player has a chance to boom it, there's already someone that's all the way on to...
Why would there not be?
Field. I don't know, mate. I can't tell you why not, but it just makes me chuckle, all right? How consistently it happens for Team Liquid. Chronic couldn't quite get that one to his teammates, though. Enjoy with a lovely couple of touches. Rise up to get onto the end of this one. He has to call Astral off. Then he gets it into the corner. But Atto and a Chronic. It's actually a Chronic that gets the save. And 0-0 remains the scoreline.
Atto again shooting on target. I think wanted to go for the double there, but ran out of boost, unfortunately, so we couldn't get anything magical on that attempt. There's a lot more magic and a lot more rabbits in that hat that he's able to pull out. Atto dropping central towards Oski. Again, the passes aren't quite working out for Liquid past the point of having 1, 2 or 3 is really what they're aiming for by the looks of things. Now Atto sending it wide. Joyo to intercept and a bump from Astral. He has certainly been sent on Demolition Man duty.
There's a huge dunk there from Joyo. We saw it earlier on in the series. Or actually, a Moist dunk ended up backfiring because his teammates overcommitted to it. And almost worked out really well for Moist, though, but not to be just yet. We're almost halfway through this game already. It is going thrillingly fast, flashing by this series. 6 games in still. So a little pre-flip towards Oski. Gets it high. Wants to beat Astral to the ball. It's a clean race between the two of them with the ball going across the goal line. Sorry, not across the goal line, across the pitch. Towards the Chronic. Flicks it high, and maybe just for a few seconds we got some neutral territory. The game seems to have slowed down after its explosive start.
That corner sees Astral getting his central yet again, but with nobody following up, it just falls to Atto to try and get the pass off Oski. Waiting in that backside, and then goes for a bump on Astral. Doesn't manage to get it. No, Astral immediately knows what was up. He can't have that job stolen so easily. Joyo removed from the pitch this time.
I feel like this neutral play will be much better for Moist. They are more than happy to slow it down like this. This is where they're the better team, you know, the structured style of Rocket League, where it's less about winning 7-6 and more about winning 1-0. It's up to Liquid now to try and rush everything, get things going again, get one of their classic pre-jumps. Or I don't know, just make Moist start guessing again. Maybe an infield pass will be the way. But Joyo, what a read and what a save.
What? How do you read that, Joyo? That is illegal, sir. That was just so quick. It was, okay, I'm going to shut my eyes, press X on the controller, and hopefully we won't concede a worldie. Brilliant play from him, blocks it out, but the pass is now starting to connect for Liquid. We were saying that earlier on they were trying to go for him. The pass is, though, on Moist. They haven't exactly been trying them so far, but then when they do, they start to pay dividends. Rise gets the shot on, but Atto's saving that one away.
More excellent goal line clearances now. We've had some for both teams. Rise, he has been teasing us with flip resets this entire series, and maybe when it matters most, he sinks one.
Rise uses that ingenuity to get on the flip reset, then flips it with that negative angle back behind both defenders, one in the air, one on the ground. He doesn't matter. He's a missile anywhere he finds it.
And now Liquid really have to turn on the style and quick. They've got a minute to save this series. Moist just have to hold out, but there are two of them in front of the ball. Joyo, though, steams in heroically. Wow, he's skidding all over the pitch just to get a decent hit on the ball. He's done his job. He can rotate back. Joyo's turn. Atto against him. Astral has to win this race. He does, and Rise is the player that it falls to. So far, so good for Moist in the end of this game 6.
Still how big the boost steals were yesterday for Oski. Now Atto's wanting to follow that example. Steals one away, and so we're going to be seeing Moist on relatively low. Only Rise has over 50 boost here, and he's the one to challenge it away as well. Astral, again, shoving his face towards that one. Manages to get a bump on the keeper, but then the second one comes back. Oski is able to clear it, and that one pinched towards that Moist net. Isn't able to find itself anywhere, however. Astral to save it away from the goal line. Final 15. Moist wanting to close it out in just 6 games.
Yeah, Moist are making Liquid look a little bit desperate now. It's double commits everywhere. It's touches that aren't really going anywhere, and it's their ball to control. Moist is seeing this one away, and they're doing it in the Team Liquid half. Unless a Chronic can find a teammate right now. There is boost to play with. Atto should be able to get a touch. Astral prods it into the corner, onto the floor, and ends the series right there. Moist will meet Carmine Corp in the semi-finals. Astral will play his old team. Team Liquid are out.